I would love if you could elaborate on this transition from separation to oneness.
Yes, you have put your finger on a very important issue. Advaita Vedanta is oneness. It is not difference. But the interesting thing is that the first step to understanding oneness is to create an apparent distinction. Why this is important is, see, we are so mixed up with our bodies and minds. And when I think of myself as Sarvapriyananda, I basically think of this body and what is going on in it, my first-person experience. But that which is the reality is one undivided existence consciousness space. Now to jump from here, this body-mind idea, to the reality as existence consciousness space, it's a big jump. It cannot be done directly. Why it cannot be done directly is because we are already so deeply convinced that I am a body, I am a mind. So the first thing that has to be done is to unconvince ourselves, if I may put it that way, to show us that we are not really this body, that we are not really this mind. That's why Advaita Vedanta spends a great deal of energy in the first step towards oneness, which is actually a kind of two-ness, the first step, that I am the witness consciousness, and the body and the mind and the prana and the intellect, memory and the whole personality is an object. The subject and object being different, I cannot literally be these objects. And there are things, there's a table and something on the table. They are objects. I'm aware of them, but that doesn't mean I am them. In one sense, they do exist, but that doesn't mean I am the table or the bottle of the table. Similarly, I am aware of the body. I am certainly aware of the mind, and I use the body and the mind, but that doesn't mean I am the body and the mind. Once this is done, Advaita can now proceed. What has been done so far? In technical terms in Advaita, this is called Tvam Padartha Shodhana. Who are you? Or who am I? An inquiry into that nature. And then I find that I am awareness. Earlier I thought I was a body. I am this change, this light. Earlier I thought I was a bundle of thoughts and feelings. I'm still aware of the body. I'm still aware of the mind. But I am awareness, aware of the body and mind, quite distinct from them. But this is still dualism. Philosophically, this is very close to an very ancient system of Indian philosophy called Sankhya. Also, the philosophical basis of the school is very popular even today, the Patanjali's yoga. So these are dualisms. There is consciousness and all that is apart from consciousness. And they stop there. Well, then that's enough. You are pure consciousness. You are trouble-free by yourself. Why concern yourself with what the body-mind is? Advaita says, no, the problem has not been completed. The solution is not complete yet. Solution requires unification. Solution requires a complete explanation of not only what I am, but what all this is. So the next step is oneness. The oneness can only be achieved by showing that this world and the body and the mind from which I saw my separation, they're actually not separate. How can you do that? We will see. I mean, that's what Advaita gets into. One more point here. Somebody might ask, wait a minute, stop right there. The whole point was to go beyond separation. So the separation, that I'm the witness consciousness, this itself takes me beyond separation. According to Advaita Vedanta, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the Upanishads say, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. From the existence of an other, from the existence of a second, comes the sense of fear, of anxiety. Notice, our sources of anxiety, fear, and indeed attraction, temptation, all of that is the second. Is something apart from us. If I'm one with something, that I am not scared of myself, nor am I particularly tempted or attracted by myself. I am not a source of anxiety to myself. But something apart from me is. Until we transcend dualism, the other, and establish non-duality. Why non-duality? What appears to be dual, what appears to be another, that is actually not another. It's actually myself. That's why it's called non-dual. That the other is appearing to you. Nobody can deny. The world is appearing to us. Body is appearing to us. The mind is appearing to us. Experiences are happening to us. No one can deny it. Whether you're a philosopher or not, this is a philosopher. Even the most radical Advaitin cannot deny that these experiences are happening. This is a direct experience. How can you deny it? But the understanding of what these things, that has to be worked up. And then you realize all these things are an expression of yourself, not different from yourself. And then alone, oneness is established.
So, for example, just speaking from the background of like Samkhya, as you mentioned, if I am facing a situation where I'm bound to feel anxious, depressed, anger, there's multiple scenarios that could happen. Okay, I disassociate myself from there. And intellectually, I tell myself, you know what, this will pass, this is transient, I'm not that, this is just an outer experience, I'm pure. But the problem is, and I've experienced this even the last few months, that those chemical reactions in the body still happen. For example, I'm sure the viewers can relate when you feel anxious, you get like heart racing happens, heart pumping happens, you get butterflies in the stomach. So how come this truth, even if I know it, is on stopping these chemicals?
Two answers. One from the Sankhyan, what would the Sankhyan say to that? And what would an Advaitin say to that? It's a very good question. Just understanding that I am the witness to it does not stop it. And do we want to stop it? Is it possible to stop it? What the Sankhyan does is to know that I am not it. Let it come, let it be, let it go. That would be the Sankhyan approach. I am not it. I'm not concerned about what's happening there on the tape. If something is happening, watch it. But it's not me. I'm not involved in it. Now the yogi takes it a step further. The yogi actually stops it. Stops it in the sense, the yogi tries to enter into samadhi, where you cut out the word. The yogi says, the eyes want to see. The yogi says, no, I will not see. The ears want to hear. The nose wants to smell. The tongue wants to taste. The yogi says, stop. I will not allow the sense organs to come in contact with the objects, which will generate experiences, pleasant and painful. Then the mind wants to think. Intellect wants to understand. Stop it. Still the mind. In absolute stillness. And of course, the purpose of the stillness is not to find peace. The purpose of the stillness in yoga is what is called Viveka Khyati, the appreciation of the distinction between the body, mind, and consciousness. You are witness consciousness, Purusha, and the body, mind is Prakriti. This distinction becomes clear to the yogi in Samadhi. But anyway, peace is found, the problems are solved in Samadhi. How about solving the problems while experiencing the world? Is it possible that I can experience the world as it is going on? The heat and the cold. My belly is terribly hot today. And the hunger and thirst, pleasure and pain, illness and health, and the ups and downs of the mind. All of them. Is it possible that we will all go on, yet I can say I am fine? Is it possible? Advaita says yes. This is the beauty, the power of Advaita. Advaita says, right here in the midst of life, I'm still fine. I don't need to shut down life. I don't even need to separate myself from life. I can live life vigorously, do whatever has to be done, and be perfectly happy when nothing has to be done. And in both cases, be fine with it. Is it possible? Advaita said yes. One monk said, अद्वैत प्रतीति को मिटाने के लिए नहीं है. अद्वैत आपको प्रतीति में निर्वाद बनाता है, व्यवहार में निर्वाद बनाता है. What it means is, Advaita is not for the sake of wiping out the word experience. Advaita is for the sake of becoming free, fearless, joyful in the middle of the word experience. Notice the great enlightened ones, whether it is Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi and others, and going back to ancient times, all of them. Even for most of the time, they were not in samadhi. I've been eyes closed kind of samadhi. They were engaged with the world. Whether it's a peaceful sage like Ramana or a dynamic monk like Vivekananda. But if you ask them, with these eyes open when you are looking at the word and engaging with the word, is it a troublesome state and eyes closed is a better state? If they would say that, then then the Sankhya has a point, the yogi has a point. But they never said that. Sri Ramakrishna said, with eyes open and eyes closed, you see the same God. Vivekananda said, the test of Vedanta, in his paraphrasing Vivekananda, is to be perfectly serene in the midst of tremendous action. One need not be afraid of the world will disturb my peace and make me unhappy. No. I can be in the midst of, he says, the busy street. Today would have said the busy street in Gurgaon. Vivekananda said the busy street in New York in those days. And my mind may be as if I were meditating in the heights of the Himalayas. You might say, how? How can you have so many ups and downs? How can you be happy in the midst of misery? If misery is there, by definition, happiness is not there. So how can you be happy in the midst of misery?
But if I'm aware of everything and the misery is there, how can there be happiness? Advaita says it's possible.
I would love if you can elaborate, because the thing is that these podcasts, like the last one we did with you, so we got thousands of comments where people actually said that they found that this really released their suffering. And now we're even going deeper. So I would love if you can elaborate on this.
We go deeper here. Yes, today we go deeper. The way to establish it is this. I am awareness. That is first. That's where Sankhya gets full marks. The yogi gets full marks. And Advaita uses that step, but it uses it as a stepping stone. It uses it to overcome what is called Dehatma Buddhi, the idea that I am the body. That is overcome. I am awareness. I am not the body. Now, next Advaita will not stop here. Advaita will say, what appears to you as the other, this world, people, this body, and what I earlier thought I was this one, this mind, now it is another. It's an object. It's a subtle object. What appears to you as the other, the question is, Advaita will ask you to ask this question, to interrogate these. What is the relationship between these and me? I am awareness. How are they related to me? And what Advaita is driving at is what we came to first, that the separation is actually not a separation. It is I, me, myself. How does that help? First of all, we have to see how is it me? And second, if it's even admitting that it is somehow I am appearing as all this, still how will it help? It will help this way, that once there is no other, fear disappears. Upanishad says, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. From the second, there is fear. From the other, there is fear. One French philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, he said, hell is other people. So, now if there's no other, even if they are appearing as another, you know deeply inside, I, the awareness, am appearing in that body and mind as that person. Even the body and mind are also nothing but I, the awareness. You might say, it's weird. How do I wrap my mind around this? It's not so weird at all. Take the example of our dreams. In our dreams, we are there in our own dreams. Not only that, we are there as other people also. I, the dreamer, I become 100 other people. Not only other people, I become the ground and the earth and the sky and the river and the air and the sunlight. Everything I become.
Name and forms are different, but
names and forms are different, but it's the same dreamer. Now let me ask you. When we realize that we are the awareness and we are experiencing this world, let us ask ourselves, this world, where is it appearing?
In my perception or my...
In my perception. Good answer. That's the preliminary first answer. See, the first answer would be outside. It's there. Can't you see it? Advaitins will say, outside. Outside what? Is it outside your perception? No, it's in my perception. All right, so it's in your perception. Why we say outside also one must understand. Why do we instinctively say, I am in here, the world is outside me, and I have to cope with this terrible world? It's because we are identified with the body. If I am the body, truly the world is outside the body. Definitely this part of the world is outside the body. The limit of the body is the skin. Up to my, Upanishad says, nakagrat, up to the tip of my fingernails, I am. Beyond this, it's not me. That's because I'm so much identified with this physical body. But when you are identified with awareness, which is, that's the first condition. We must have stepped back from the body into our awareness nature. then we'll begin to see that this world is actually arising and existing and disappearing back into me, the awareness. How? As you said, no, the world is not outside. The world is in perception. Notice what you said. It's in perception. But where is this perception taking place? Isn't it taking place in awareness? I am aware. And in that awareness, some strange things are happening. I am seeing. That seeing is going on. I am aware. And in that awareness, one more strange thing is happening. I am hearing. Hearing is going on. Now my question is, where is he seeing? Where is hearing? In awareness only.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like in our dreams. In our dreams also we feel I am seeing many other people. I am hearing some, people are talking. But all that, actually our eyes are not open in the dream. Our ears are not functioning in the dream. The whole seeing, hearing is going on in the dreamer's mind. Similarly, here also all seeing, hearing, activity, and not just perception, action. I'm speaking. We're sitting, we're walking, talking. All action is also going on in awareness.
Is there one awareness or is this?
All right, we'll go to that. So, but then what is the conclusion of this? The non-duality of awareness is the result. So now let's start this way. The I am, the awareness. Now the question is, what is all this? Sankhya would say, it's there. It's a world. There are people. They're all outside you. But Advaita says, if all this is there, notice, it's not really outside me. It's only outside me if I think I'm the body. But the body itself and this world, they're all in me, the perception. They're all in me. The perceptions is also in me, the awareness. So the perception and the things perceived, they are not apart from me, the awareness. This is called non-duality of awareness. Who are you? Who am I? I'm awareness. What's all this? It is me alone. But in some remarkable way, I alone am appearing to me as my own objects. And it's not very unnatural because this happens in the dream also. In the dream, there is Advaita.
Yes.
There's an Advaita of deep sleep, there's an Advaita of dream. The Advaita of deep sleep is subject and object are crushed together into one featureless mass. There is no object there at all. So you can call it a non-duality because there's no second thing in a deep sleep. There's just one blankness. That's how you can describe deep sleep.
Blankness, absence.
Nothing. Absence. That absence, it's a kind of non-duality because subject-object are not distinct there. I am seeing the blankness. It's not like that. So there's no subject-object distinction in deep sleep. So that's a kind of non-duality. It's an experiential kind of non-duality. But dream is a kind of non-duality. What is the non-duality in the dream? It's only when we wake up and realize that it is a dream. Then we realize nothing in the dream and nobody in the dream was apart from me, the doer. We may have seen 100 people, but when I wake up, how many people were actually there in the dream? I, the dreamer. Only me. It's a kind of only me Advaita in the dream. What we are trying to do now is to apply that to the waking state. Instead of saying dreamer, I am saying consciousness. Just it was a dreamer Advaita in dream, it is a consciousness Advaita in the waking. This is what Advaita Vedanta is driving at. Once this is established, now think of the dream example. After waking up, are you afraid of anything that happened in the dream?
No.
Are you attracted to anything or anybody in the dream?
No.
As long as it is in the dream. I might have seen a nice laddu, dreamt about it in the dream, and I get up and go to the fridge to eat a laddu. That's because it's available in the waking state. The dream laddu itself I am not attracted to because I know it's nothing. It's just I appearing to myself in my dream. So we are never really tempted or terrified by anything in the dream. While the dream is going on, yes. But after we wake up, no. It's all gone. Even the most terrible things which happened in the dream. When you wake up, do you feel traumatized and anxious? How to tackle this situation in my life? No. Because it didn't happen. It looked like that. Now the same thing will happen in the waking state. In the waking state also, from the awareness perspective, all this is appearing. Even the terrible things are not terrible. Even the great things are not so good anymore. Because they are all appearances, and appearances are nothing apart from you. This is the meaning of Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. Consciousness alone is real. The world is an appearance in consciousness, and you are that consciousness. You asked me, is there one consciousness or many? And the answer in Advaita Vedanta is that there is one consciousness, and it can be logically argued why there is one consciousness.
Just because I was just thinking of something while you were talking. For example, right now, if it's very hot, I might be suffering because of that heat. And okay, I understand that in my awareness, I have that perception that heat is causing me suffering. But there might be someone else who might find that heat very nurturing, and they might think that it's a good thing. So when there's two different perceptions, then how can that awareness be same?
Yes. Let me expand on that question itself. Why just two different perceptions? They're tremendously different points of view. So one person might be happy, another person might be sad. One person might be awake, another person might be sleeping. How can they be the same consciousness? One person might be a brilliant person with lots of knowledge. Other person might be an illiterate person with almost no knowledge, without any advantages of education. And how can they be the same consciousness? One person may be dead. Other person might be living. How can it be the same consciousness? One person might be enlightened, and the other person, the students might not be enlightened, the guru might be enlightened. How is it if they are one consciousness? How can that possibly be? All these are questions which are matters of debate between Sankhya and Vedanta. They are all ancient questions. And the answers are pretty good. These differences which you are pointing out are in the body-mind level. So the same consciousness shining through this particular mind illumines the contents of this mind and illumines the sense impressions coming in through these eyes and these ears and this skin, illumines the personality which is there in this body-mind, Sarvapriyandanda personality. And the same consciousness shining through that body and mind illumines a whole different set of attitudes, ideas, perceptions, personality. Consciousness is the same. Let me give some examples. One is the sun is in the sky, bright and shining, and there are 10 pots on the ground. Each pot has water. And each pot with the water, the sun is reflected in the water, and you'll see a little reflected sun there which is shining and illumining that little water, the local water in that pot. In one, the water may be dirty, and the illumination illumines the dirty water. In another, it might be Ganga water. It's illumining the Ganga water. Another, it might be milk or something else, or somewhere, some other thing. Another, there might not be water, there just might be smoke in the pot, they put the dhuna, So, the light illumines the contents of the pot, and the contents are different. And so, what is illumined is different. But the source of the light is one sun. That's an example. Similarly, here what we are saying is the source of consciousness is one consciousness, Atman or Brahman. As captured and used and illuminating various bodies and minds, you will give rise to various experiences. The same consciousness illuminating this person who's sweating and hot and will feel, and the mind in this body will feel, oh, it's so hot, it's incredibly hot. And the same consciousness shining in another body mind where the attitude is different in that mind, the feeling will arise, hey, this is great. It's good for my health. It'll burn out all the bad germs or something like that or something. Those reactions are in the mind. One might say, I can go, knowledge for example. A question might be, if we are all one consciousness, just as I know the contents of this mind, why don't I know the contents of everybody's mind? I should be aware of everybody's mind. But I'm not. That's because knowledge is peculiar and local to each mind. Consciousness shining here illumines the contents of this mind and says, oh, my memories are like this, my ideas are like this, my knowledge is like this. It's all in this mind.
That's subjective.
Subjective. And as knowing, the knower is also this mind. What's a knower? It's consciousness plus a mind. Not consciousness by itself. And that knower will have different knowledge. Somebody might ask, how come if I am consciousness in every mind, I know what's going on here in Delhi, but I don't know what's going on in, suppose, in Washington,
Yeah.
in Paris. There are so many people, conscious people, that their knowledge also should be my knowledge. No, the knowledge is localized in those minds. As they see with those eyes and hear with those ears and think with those minds, knowledge is also produced in those minds. But that knowledge which is produced in those minds is illumined by the reflection of the one same consciousness. Okay, this is a complicated example. Let me give a simpler example which we all have. It's a subtle but simple example. In our dreams again. So I am there in my own dream, you are there in your own dream, and there are other people in your dream. Now you realize that after waking up, all of them were you yourself. You were the only one in the dream. But in the dream, it seemed as if different people were having different experiences. You were there in your own dream, but did you feel that you were having the experiences of all the other people in the dream? No, you felt just like a waking state. I am here, mom is here, brother is here, people are around me. You never feel that, oh, it's a dream, so I should be able to see through the eyes of everybody. And no, it just feels commonsensical that the way I am in the waking, I am like that in the dream also. It's only after waking up we realize it was a dream. Similarly, here also. One can be the same consciousness without being... So consciousness is one, but knowers are many. Yeah, this is one way of distinguishing. Vedanta would say. Vedanta has these two terms. Sakshi, witness consciousness. Pramata, knower. How many sakshis? One. How many pramatas? Many, as many minds. And the sakshi is that which powers the pramata in each body and mind. Another example from our solar system. The sun is one. There's only one sun. But there are many moons, There's one moon for Earth, but other planets also have moons. Some have multiple moons. Sun, one sunlight. How many moonlights? As many moons,
Many.
So many moonlights.
One appearing as many.
One sun, and they're all the moonlights are one sunlight actually. Our moon borrows its light from the sun, but Saturn's moons also, Jupiter's moons also, they all borrow their light from the same sun. It's the same light, but it appears in different parts of the solar system, and each one will have its own name and separate focus.